You guys already had it. Okay, sorry.
We'll start. We're going to call the meeting to order, and we're going to let Diane Johnson do our invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, you are the builder of all things. Please guide us in this meeting. Help us to come up with effective strategies that can enable us to move forward as a team in a meaningful way. Help us to have grace and understanding of all the needs and to share in that plan with generosity and respect. Let our plans nourish and support those communities that we serve in a practical and sustainable manner. Guide us now towards the best way to take action to accomplish our goals. Amen.
Okay, you have the agenda here. Do I have a motion to approve our agenda? Okay. Do I have a second?
No.
Okay. Do you think that it'll fit under the 2004 budget or not?
It could.
Okay, so I think it'll be fine. It's right under the
Then I'll
budget.
second.
So I have a motion. Do I have a second? Did I have a second? Diane second. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We now have time for recognition of the public. No one signed up to speak, so I assume everybody's just here to listen to themselves, right? Okay. Moving on. Okay, the minutes from our February 8th meeting, which was the last one that we talked about our budget. Do I have a motion to approve these minutes?
Yes.
Okay, Diane makes the motion. Second. Joanna second. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, so we can go right on to the business. And the first item is the distribution of funds remaining from the fiscal year 2023 payroll. And Diane sent us a packet and an explanation with the transfer.
Yes. So,
do we need a motion to get it on the floor before you explain it? Okay, do I have a motion? Debbie Martin, do I have a second? Okay, thank you. All right, Diane.
okay, so this is a little bit of a moving target because we still have one employee, Susan, the bookkeeper, in these funds that are still being paid out. But when I prepared this meeting, this was as accurate as it could be. And it's moving some of the funds over to Hendersonville for them to prepare for being open on a Friday. It's also giving a little bit of part-time help to Portland, Gallatin, and Millersville as well, and then also preparing Westmoreland to hire a full-time person. So these are just the remaining funds. I have not put anything on here for TCRS, medical, or dental, because when I finally this all has to be approved at the March 13th budget, and those numbers as far as the bookkeeper funds will be slightly less, and then whatever is left in those benefit lines, I will work with Beth Browning. So this is just, well, I don't want to say this is a guess. It's not a guess. But where the bookkeeper line is, it will continue to decrease. So some of these numbers over here on the right side will slightly decrease just because come March 13th, those funds aren't going to be exactly as they are right now today. But this will give you a good indication of where we're going, and they are very, very close.
Okay, thank you.
Does that help?
Yes, that was very helpful. Does anybody have anything to speak to, or any questions? Or?
About this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're in discussion now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to go to the one that says 149 because I like to see on the whole number.
Well, we're not there yet.
Oh, we're not there? We're on
This fiscal year 2023.
Okay, so then, so this isn't the dissolving?
The $62,000 is dissolving for the remaining funds of this year.
Okay, so then okay, really quickly, I misread this agenda. We should have had approving library director's budget on the agenda. Because that's one thing that we're supposed to be talking about today.
But you don't have a final copy.
That's, under funds for 2024.
So this is going to be
That might
included,
fit.
this and their budget? Okay. Okay.
See, 2024, well, payroll, but that's gonna be on the 2024.
Okay. So then the funds that are going to go to the Hendersonville Library, Portland, Westmoreland, all this stuff. So I'm assuming that this is going to lead into what is going to be in 2024. So I see that money was pulled from Gallatin and from Millersville. No, from Gallatin and Portland, sorry.
No. We're not moving any money from any library.
No, from what you proposed the last time. Really quickly, you were supposed to give us 3 scenarios, this is only one. So,
There's so many ways to slice and dice.
Okay.
So if you don't like something that's here,
Okay.
then we can adjust it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go off of what you gave us before, which was.
Did you give the package today?
No, I don't have a package today.
One of those, if I could take one of these people.
Okay. Okay. So, this is what she's proposing today, correct? And then what she proposed last time is what I'm looking for, which is what I brought you. So,
Right, the very first time, Joanna, was when everybody, I didn't have a full-time person in for Westmoreland, and everybody felt that we needed to give Westmoreland some help, so then those numbers had to kind of adjust around.
okay. So, in the last one, Hendersonville was going to get 3 librarians and 2 part-timers, right?
They were gonna get two full-times and 3 part-times. But there's not enough for that right now. One of their full-times they already have, which is the children's librarian, but they need to start paying for that.
Okay. So we've got 2, okay, how is this breaking down on this budget, on the first one we're looking at, this is $2,000. It just says each librarian, are those full-time?
They're full-time,
Okay.
and then
One
part-time is
part-time.
part-time.
Okay. And then another part-time for Portland.
Right.
Okay. And then we're looking at,
There was some extra money that originally Portland was going to transfer to Gallatin. We're not doing that, but then with the money that they were going to transfer, this amount on here, that will get them to be able to start hiring a part-time individual.
I thought Gallatin was going to transfer.
They originally were, but then the decision was made.
Okay, yes,
There's not enough money for that.
okay. So is Portland going to be getting the same amount they would have originally?
Where they were going to be given $12,667 for a 40-hour per pay period part-time individual.
Okay.
And then there's some people in Portland that are misclassified, so that'll give a little money for reclassification there as well.
Okay. And then this is enough money for Westmoreland to get their full-time?
Yes.
To $8,000?
Yes.
And then Gallatin is getting less money.
Yes.
And now, remember that this is just from the library system.
Yes.
Okay.
For the remaining funds for the library system for 2023.
Okay. And then Millersville is getting,
A little bit of part-time as well.
okay. And so, if they're gonna hire two full-time and one part-time at Hendersonville, how are they gonna sustain that into the budget?
Because when we get to 2024, they will get a full year's worth of salary plus some from the city of Hendersonville.
Okay, that's where the problem is coming in. Because Hendersonville, one, hasn't been approved, okay?
It has approved first reading, and when I talked to Jamie Clary, he was absolutely convinced that it would go through on the second reading on the 28th, and he will send me a letter of commitment on that at that time.
Okay. One, I never claim anyone's going to vote, so I think it's kind of...
And those funds have not been included in any of these numbers.
Okay, but you're banking on that for Hendersonville?
Yes.
Okay. So, and in that $20,000, the county has to match it?
No.
That...
The county matched it more than enough when they did the salary survey adjustments.
Okay, that was not the intention of the salary survey.
No, but it's working that way.
But that's not the intention of it.
No, but if the city wants to give up $20,000 and not require the county to come up with another 20, then that's okay.
Okay, how do you justify taking money from the county that was never intended for that? They gave that money for a salary survey, and now we're playing a shell game and we're moving it, and we're saying, oh, we're going to go ahead and do this.
Well, we're moving all of the library system funds out.
Yeah.
And so we've got a pot full of money that we can divide among the 5 libraries. So if you've got this pot of money and you divide it, plus you throw in some for Hendersonville for what the city of Hendersonville is doing, the other cities, if they want their libraries to be open, they can contribute extra money as well.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like you're trying to harm Hendersonville because maybe the rest of them haven't contributed.
No, I haven't said that at all. What I'm saying is the intention of the $20,000, the intention of the money that was given in the salary survey was the intention for the people that were employed at that time, and that's what they were given the money for. It wasn't to match something that they already said that they wouldn't do in former years. So that's, no, I don't go, whoa, because we report to the county commissioners. And if they go, hey, we didn't mean for this money to do that. You guys came to me and asked me for it, and we said no.
Right, originally, that's right.
And if you went and asked them now, they would say no as well. So, probably. So what my thing is the intention behind this is deceptive.
Well, I don't agree with that, mainly because there's the system account that took money from the libraries to begin with. The county never funded the system, okay? And they were high-paid salaries, especially the executive director, that salary alone is more than 2 salaries when you divide it up, okay? So that money is there to divide back out.
To divide back out, not to create more opportunity. So if we were just to say, hey, you know what, we're going to give you back the money that you lost, Hendersonville would still be closed on Fridays, and they would have their money back. So, again, and then, this is just payroll. We open up on Fridays, and I've gone and talked about this. We now have utilities now that we have to pay for. We have other things that we have to pay for. And, you know, I live in Hendersonville, love the Hendersonville Library. But I also don't want to use this as an opportunity to deceptively give them the money that the county said no to, and now we're going to figure out a way to give it to them. When Alan's not asking for Fridays to be open.
No, but the population in Hendersonville is.
Have you done a survey?
Yes.
A survey was done.
Yes, there was. And just about every survey that was
Okay.
turned in said we need this library to be
And is
open.
the population, okay, so I understand population, but here we're also, can't go on with population once all time. Because is the population going to give the money?
Through their taxes, yes.
Okay, but the county has said that we're not going to give it. So what they need to do.
And that's a stipulation prior.
Mhm.
If the city was costing us X number of dollars, at that point, they expected the county to cough up equal dollars.
Yes.
That's not the condition now.
Can I ask a question here?
Mhm.
What is it gonna cost to open up on Friday? I mean, with salaries, utilities, and that's part of my concern.
We
Is $20,000 gonna cover it?
We estimated 40, and that was part from the county and part from the city.
But are you getting 20 from the county?
I believe that we're getting 20,000 because of all the salary survey adjustments. And when you're dissolving the library system, most of that money that was given to the three people that were in the payroll for the salary survey, those increases are almost 20,000.
You don't think we're going to get it from the city? But we're not asking the county.
No, we're not.
money.
The money's already here.
But she just said that it would cost about $40,000 to open it up on Friday.
But the way the money was taken away from the libraries when the system was put in place, positions were eliminated. So now you can restructure, you have the opportunity to restructure your staff, to put some positions back in place to be open those extra 8 hours.
So is this for this year, or are we talking about the future?
The future.
Because, so you're gonna have the money for the future?
This first 62,000 is just to dissolve and to get ready for those extra libraries to have a little extra.
And you won't have to ask the county for it?
No, never.
This is already in the pot,
Right.
and so it's just a question of when the overview system got dissolved, there was money left over in the pot. So what Diane is doing with this is just reallocating that money from where it was originally intended to now say, okay, so in this pot, Hendersonville gets this, Gallatin this, Westmoreland that, whatever. And so through '23, we're fine.
Right.
And then with 2024, we haven't gotten there yet, but we'll,
That's the next.
yes, so we'll
I
have a
get that.
conversation.
But here's the thing is in order to create those positions, they had to take money from all of the libraries.
Originally, yes.
Originally, correct. So now, there's a deficit in all of the libraries, because they had to take money from them to create.
That's what she's putting
Okay,
back.
no,
Right.
no,
Some of the libraries
but
gained
she's
money.
not putting it back, because before this was created, Fridays were not able to happen in Hendersonville.
And that
Okay,
was before
so-
any of the salary adjustments were done.
Correct. But those salary adjustments were used for those positions that were given, okay, that were created. Now, if we go ahead and take those salaries that were taken away, and now we just give them back to the library, there's no way that we should be able to position. Because it's going to take more than $40,000 because you want it to be open for 8 hours.
We already did
Okay.
this, we already did this.
And I have spoken to numerous people, and the numbers aren't working out. Also, Hendersonville needs more money for electricity. So that means that Hendersonville, that on Friday, we're gonna have utility costs for this. And then, but all that aside, $20,000 from Hendersonville, which, by the way, does it say in there now that did Jamie Clary say, I'll give you this money if the county matches it?
No,
So that's not in there anymore?
no.
Okay. So just gonna give us $20,000 to do what?
To be open on Friday,
Okay, so.
as long as we can make these other numbers work.
Okay, but someone is losing here in order to give Hendersonville more money to open on Friday.
Well, I will tell you that when the system was created, that Hendersonville lost $73,000 in full-time help. $73,000. This plan right here is only $70,000. Okay, so they're not even getting back what they lost. Okay, now, they also, you know, so some of that, yes, is mostly, these part-time help is to get them open on Friday. Yes, I agree. Westmoreland, we talked about this last time, that we felt that they needed to have a full-time person. That's in here for them. Portland needs to have some extra part-time help, and then Gallatin and Millersville is getting some. Gabby had said at the one meeting over and over that she's fully staffed. She doesn't need it. We talked about growth for Henderson, for Gallatin. So that'll be a little growth. Either she can, you know, add some hours to what people are already working, as long as she doesn't get them up to full-time. Millersville, they've got a few extra hours there as well to plan for growth.
Can I call us suspend the rules and ask the directors questions?
We don't have to do that, they have a place at the table.
Okay.
Now that they're all five, their own people, they can just talk.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. So have you all received this? Okay. So, okay. So, Alan, are you doing something? Okay. Do you feel confident in a Friday open that money-wise and staff-wise, that you would feel comfortable with juggling this and making this happen?
I haven't done anything with that sheet since it was given to me to look at hours. I would be concerned. I'll put it that way. I want to be helpful, but I would be concerned.
Okay, thank you.
What would your concerns be, Ellen?
Well, so without trying to make this more convoluted, right? I'm not sure where the original numbers came from, because I don't believe that 40,000 is an adequate number to address a full day opening, right? I think that was done years ago, so maybe in the past it might have been, but it would be adequate for today. And I haven't done a hard case study, but to give you an example, our budget is over $750,000 for being open 4.5 days a week. So if we're adding a full day, even if I don't fully divide that out, it's going to be closer to $100,000. So when I'm working on my budgets currently, as we all are, I'm moving money around from different lines to try to beef up certain lines that I feel are going to be short. Ms. Daniels referenced electricity. For all of us, that's been an issue. We currently allot $48,000 a year for that building. We're going to be short this year. We're probably going to be close to 51 or so. And with an increase possibly coming this summer, we're probably going to need to go even higher. So that means that money's got to come from somewhere else. Now, I have asked, the only place where I've asked the commission to increase our budget is that. The only other numbers that are increased are monies that IT is giving back to us, or money that Ms. Johnson has said that would come if these are approved back in salary kind of things. So I'm not going to have money to augment instructional supplies, more things that we're doing, right? And HVAC is working harder because it's been problematic. So I've got to move it from other lines, which I probably can make happen this year. But ongoing is probably going to be an issue. Now, I don't know if the 70,000 or the exact number that's being referred to, if that's going to be enough to staff the library on Friday for a full day. The minimum day of staffing that we have at Hendersonville is 12 people on Thursday, because that's our lowest attended day, even though it's the longest day. But for the most part, we staff the library with most people, we're more people than that on any given day, because we're so busy. That doesn't mean we couldn't make Fridays work. My only concern would be is if we staffed it at such a low number, and let's say we said no program or anything, people forget that. In a year or two, they're going to say, hey, how come we're not doing stuff right, whatever, and so then it's hard to go back and say, well, we did it with this agreement. So when I was trying to create, and when Ms. Johnson came to me and said, hey, can you kind of play with some numbers, I was trying to figure out ideally what we could make happen. And so what I would do is I would take the money that we would have originally, and I think what I proposed was going to come out, and it came up the last meeting, it was going to cost over $100,000, which I thought was an outrageous amount, right? To hire additional staff, plus moving staff from other days on to Fridays to cover that. So, can I speak to specificity of what it would take? No, ma'am, I don't. But do I have concern? Yes, ma'am, I do. And I think just with the increased costs, I think it's problematic. One thing I said is I would rather reallocate money to my staff and try to keep them longer, because I feel like I go through staff constantly. I don't know if you know this, but we're the only department that relies mostly on part-time people. 2/3 of my staff is part-time. Most of my staff is a library clerk, one position. They get paid $12, $18 an hour. No benefits, no days off, no anything. I would rather see them get an increase and try to keep them, because it's hard to have the level of customer service and programming that it takes to invest in people when you're constantly having to replace them. So, but I'm not trying to be difficult. So.
Would it work, sorry, if it wasn't an 8-hour day, would that make it any easier?
Yes.
Or, I mean, because I know when you open the building, the electricity's going to cost the same. When you turn the lights on, that's not going to be much of a
Yes.
thing to figure in, but what about staffing?
So when I first came on last spring, I was kind of told that was something the city wanted, but it was unclear what the city was requesting. So I was meeting privately with the mayor, and I made it known that I had no authority to do anything. I just wanted to know from him what he might see. And so we were exploring a lot of different options. We didn't agree on anything because I made it clear that there was people above me. So one of the options that we were possibly talking about was a 4-hour option, where we would just staff it with 2 people. We require 4 people to staff the library to be open. If we don't have 4, we don't open. But what we would do is we would open the foyer so that the bathrooms would be available, because I know the walking trail gets heavily used. And then people could come and pick up their holds that they place, because we might have like 50 holds on any given day. And so they could pick those up. And we were thinking about doing that like on a 10 to 2, so they would mirror the hours on Saturday. And that, I haven't done the cost analysis of that, but I would think it would be significantly more.
Alan, is Thursday, you said Thursday is your least busy day, is that correct?
That is correct, because we're trying to increase that. We're starting to offer more programming. Our business time here where we don't offer a lot of programming on Thursdays, and that's probably the reason why.
I guess I was wondering, because the Thursday is already set up as a full-time day.
That's correct.
And we're looking at doing Friday, where we would anticipate eventually it being a busy day, because end of the week, people are, trying to get things done, prepare for the weekend, do whatever. Could, in essence, you make Friday maybe that full-time day, and then do your less hours on the Thursday when it's not used as much? I don't know if that would be an option or not. Because I guess rather, if Thursday's full-time and Friday would have to be part-time, could you reverse those, where it's part-time on a less busy day, and then full-time more on the Friday? I'm just throwing that out as something to think about.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of it depends on what we do programmatically. Tuesdays and Wednesday mornings are our busiest times because we offer children's programming, and then Saturdays are our busiest time because I think it's the time that picks us the load. Then I would say Monday and Thursday nights are probably our next busiest time because people can get to the library.
Mm-hmm.
So if we offered the same programming 5 days a week, right, we probably would have a difference of when we'd probably be the busiest. But because we offer certain things at some times, because we're not able to do that across the board.
Right.
If I moved our Tuesday programming to Thursday, then Tuesdays would be the slowest day, right? So I think it's kind of a little bit of a misnomer, but So, yes, but yes, ma'am, we could, yes.
Joanne?
Well, thank you very much, Alan. Joe, and I was going to talk to a few of the other directors. Here's my thing is, and please, no disrespect to Hendersonville, but they just spent $600,000 on a pickleball court. I don't see why they can't give more money and take on Fridays for their library. In my opinion, this money that was taken away from to create these things, we need to give them back to the libraries to make sure that their needs are taken care of before we go and add more responsibility on the budget. $20,000 is not going to be enough. And so really quickly, Anita, with this money that is being given to you in this budget amendment, are you good with that? Does that fulfill your needs? Is there a deficit? Tell me your thoughts.
I'm good with that. Actually, I've run the numbers and everything with the money I'm getting here and the money that's being budgeted back to us next year and everything.
Okay.
I would be able to get a 28-hour-a-week part-time person, which I would split between our front desk and our children's department, which would be more than what we need, yes.
Okay.
I'm good with that, yes.
Okay, great. Amy, with what you're getting here, how are you dealing with that? How is that for your deficit?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay.
I'm still very new. And I just got through hiring 2 people that I desperately needed.
Okay.
And I need to do a needs assessment for any amount of hours until I know what the need is in our community.
Okay.
And so I didn't think I would have anything to say about it. Didn't think I would get an opportunity, so I hadn't prepared anything to say. I was just going to figure it out when I had a chance to not be doing 4 people's jobs.
Okay. Well, and please, we welcome you guys to always come with your questions, and we had said last time to come with any possibilities that you were going to need. But the money that you're being given here, the $2,694, which then will go to $4,056.
Yeah, and Amy, when April was still here and you sat down and worked on all these transfers, you were going to transfer out $1,907 out of part-time help. We're not doing that. So what you're given here on these sheets will be in addition to what you were transferring out.
Right, I understand.
Okay. So,
I understand, I don't have an answer to your question. I apologize, I'm short-staffed, I've been doing this job as a children's librarian, as well as my job, as well as doing the budget, as well as
Okay, so you're a children's librarian?
She's starting on board, but it's just, I just haven't.
Great.
And so,
Okay.
The ball.
Okay. Gabby, with what you're given here, are you good?
As long as I get to keep the position that we had discussed being moved to Hendersonville, because I was under the wrong assumption that I was going to get one of the system employee positions back that I'd given up. And the extra part-time hours, I would be perfect.
yeah, we're not taking any funds. What you have is the 221 for this fiscal year, the 221 in librarians. We're not taking anything away from you.
Okay. I saw that in your email. I think that's what you're referring to.
Okay.
Yeah, we're currently paying the person at Hendersonville, because that was going to be transferred to Hendersonville before I thought I was. I think we're okay. I think we are in a good place if I get that person, if I get to keep that person.
Okay. Okay. And then Lauren? Okay. Hi. Okay, and so you are good. We're giving the $8,000, the full-time person that will fulfill your needs. Okay. So I think then, the disbursement to them, I'm still not am all in favor of a Friday open. I don't believe that we have the funds for it, and I do believe that it will cause a problem in the future. And if Hendersonville only wants to give $20,000 to keep a library open on Fridays, then, I think that if they want their city to be open on Fridays, they need to give more money.
Okay, I have, with these positions being transferred back to Hendersonville and that sort of thing, that's giving them back part of what they had. Not all they had before, but part of what they had. So they need these positions, whether they're open on Friday or not. Okay. So, our concern right now is to get this money distributed.
Yes, we have to
And
agree.
getting it back into their payroll. So, when we vote to move this money back, we're not saying you can open on Friday.
Okay.
Because we're waiting on Hendersonville City Council to vote on that, and then that's another problem. That's, and once you get it back into Hendersonville's account, that's when you've got to sit down and crunch those numbers.
I was gonna say, don't we need to vote on that?
Yes.
Get it as a board?
Yes. Okay.
And all. So, all we're doing now is getting this money out of the system account
Yes.
back into their payroll. And then if Hendersonville votes on second reading, and it becomes an ordinance then, not a resolution, then that's when you're gonna have to look at the numbers. And you may have to come up with a plan, and we'll have to see that plan before we move forward. So what we vote today really doesn't have that much of an impact yet.
Right.
That's down the road.
So we're only voting on
These numbers right here.
But we're voting on the numbers, but they also, like Hendersonville librarians, that has to be a full-time job, right? So if these salaries are being moved, then that goes to a full-time position, so he would have to use that for a full-time position, is that correct? Okay, so,
But he lost 2 children's librarians, and he's now just has 1 back. I mean, I see that, I remember, and all that. So when you're giving him positions back, he can staff his library and still probably be okay,
oh, yeah.
whether they're open on Friday or not.
Yes, sir.
I see this as 2 issues.
Right.
I see this as getting this money out of the system and getting it where the needs are, and everybody there in agreement that they're okay.
Right.
So I think I'm going to call a question. Is there anybody else that would like to speak to it that hasn't spoken to it? Okay, we're going to go ahead and vote. All in favor of making these payroll transfers as they are, you can either say aye or raise your hand.
Okay, is this just the first page?
Just the first page, the
Okay.
$62,000.
I can't ask Alan another question.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So that motion is passed. Now we're moving on to the distribution of funds for the fiscal year 2024 payroll. And that is in your packet, the next page.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so. Do you have anything to say, or do you just want to?
No, I think we've said it.
Okay, all right. So, does anybody else have anything to say?
So this is for H librarians and H part-time. Okay, so that's 2 full-time librarians?
Yes.
Okay. And 1 part-time? Okay. All right. So then,
And Westmoreland is your
Alan?
full-time.
I'd have to look at the numbers, I don't remember this, because it depends. If I hire a library clerk 1, that's roughly $25,000. I'm not sure what you have in front of me, so, but if I were to hire,
No problem. Do you need 2 full-time people? Or would you prefer to have more part-time?
I probably would prefer full-time.
Okay. Two full-time?
Just because it's easier communication-wise, they're in the building.
Okay.
And they tend not to come and go as often as part-time.
Yeah, and then your part-time, Alan, is $28,500 that you can divide however you want.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, let's see if we can vote on this item. Did you want to stop me or?
No.
Oh, you just,
Get my notes done.
you raised, do I need to?
No.
Okay, I just saw your hand there. Okay. All right, all in favor of the fiscal year 2024 payroll budget, indicate by saying aye or raise your hand. Aye. Okay. Everybody. Okay, thank you. Now, in addition, with the 2024 budget, they're working on it. They've got their sheets. They sent them to us. They all brought their budget sheets.
Yeah, Alan, do you have your budget sheet?
I do not. I apologize. I did not finish it. I was distracted today with other issues.
Okay.
But I can send that to you.
Okay, I just want to say that I will go ahead and take care of with finance of getting these budget transfers over to them so that they can get on the budget committee for March.
We'll do that.
Yes, I will do that. You can count on these 2023 numbers being added to your budget after the county budget meets on March 13th. For the 2024, they do not have to go to budget. I put them on here so it's easy to read, but what you guys need to do is define your numbers over here on the right and add them to your payroll amounts on your worksheet. I need everybody's worksheet back by Friday at noon. So the only thing that you should have to do is add these payroll numbers on that just got approved today.
And they've got a copy of that.
For 2024. Yes, and by noon on Friday, I need them back.
And they've got a copy of those.
Do you all have a copy of these numbers? You should all have a copy.
Because Jessica sent it to me, I have it now. I'm adding 4,500 to my part-time line for 2024.
Yes, you are.
Okay, that's what I said.
Mine's already included in there.
Yeah, mine is,
Yeah,
but you did, in the email I sent.
Okay, based on these numbers?
It's only 2024.
Make sure when you send out your budget reports by noon on Friday, that you send them to every board member. Okay. I will then review them all, make sure all the numbers are right, based on all the sheets that you've been getting to add this and to add that. I will make sure that I send them to accounting or finance no later than March 1st, and I will copy you. So I'll be sending out 5 different emails, but I will be the one that will be sending out the budget reports to finance, copying you.
I will give you mine before sending it to get me that one.
And then, Diane, do you, when the county first, does the budget committee
Well,
first,
these
or?
payroll adjustments for 2023 will go to budget committee.
Okay.
These will not, because they're just getting added. And then what will happen then is, sometime in May, they'll set up a. And then they will get our budget approved in May.
Will you
Also, make sure that on your budget worksheet, that you are not, please do not do anything with benefits. That includes longevity and all the other benefits. Make sure you're taking your 2023 numbers and you're moving them over identically. I know that for some, there may be some differences. That is a finance task, and they will look at your worksheet for your salary, and then make sure that you, they will make those adjustments. Also, if you are wanting any type of capital improvements for fiscal year 2024, make sure when you send me your budget sheets, you give me a good detailed explanation of what that is, because we don't put that on our long-range plan for 2024, that starts in 2025 and then goes on. ARPA, there are some funds still with ARPA that I sent you guys an email from ARPA. I know the county is planning on doing some HVAC repair. There's also some water retention issues in one of the communities. They're planning on trying to use some of the ARPA funds. So if you've got HVAC issues, if you've got other building issues, make sure that you get me an email detailing what you are requesting. It doesn't mean that you will get it, but if we don't put our name in the pot, we're not going to get it. Yes?
So you had mentioned that maybe carpeting might be an acceptable one to apply for, so maybe a second section of my.
Yes, I would put it down. I don't know what they're gonna do. They probably got a long list of projects, and they're gonna decide which ones they wanna do. But if we don't put our request in there, we have no chance, okay? But just make sure, you know, if there's, like for you, if there's trip hazards or something, you know, plead your case. For Lauren, you've got drainage issues, plead your case. You know, HVAC issues, Alan, plead your case, okay? Just make sure that you get back to me in the next few days as well, so we can get our name in plenty of time. You do not have to have a detailed quote. If you know approximately how much it might cost, that's good to put it in there, rather than just trying to guess, and they may guess way too high, they may guess way too low. So if you've got some kind of an idea, make sure you put that in there as well. But by April 14th, I think, is when we have to have the final quotes back to them if our projects get approved. So,
If you don't have to, it's an automatic no. If you have to, you have a chance.
so much going on.
Right. Okay, is that all you're going to go over right now?
I think so.
Okay.
I think we're going to look at these while we were here today.
No, I don't think, you just wanted to tell them about this. You didn't want to go over these budgets. Because they're not, I know, they're still working. They're still working. This is preliminary, so.
Okay, so when do we vote on the budget?
They have to be back to finance by March 1st.
Okay.
They can't be late.
At the last meeting.
So do I need to add that? Because they go to, by the 13th, does that need to be on March 8th agenda?
The review of the budget?
Uh-huh.
Well, they're already turned in. They have to be turned in by March 1st. If you've got questions, that's what we're here for.
Okay, if you want to ask questions, fine, but, yeah, distribution of funds for the 2024. So, you want to look at it and ask a few, I'll phone you with them.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is that at the last meeting, that's the reason why I asked for the budget to come, so we could discuss them, and if we had any questions, that they could tell us why they were doing it, because we knew we had to have it by March 1st, and we were going to vote on the budget at this meeting. So that's why I'm confused why we're not voting on the budget. So Gallatin, I guess, we just got these budgets literally, yesterday or today? I haven't had time to take a look at any of these.
Yeah, and we didn't get them out yesterday.
Yeah, so I haven't had time, and so I can't go to the commission and say, yes, I approve these budgets, because I haven't even had time to look at them. So, I don't know how we're going to approve them and send them March 1st, because that's literally what today was supposed to be.
If this is a working document, we really don't have to vote until toward the end of the fiscal year, right?
We'll get called over sometime in May.
Right.
And it'll.
Because I was thinking, you know,
Right.
this this is preliminary.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get for the clarification, is that what has to be submitted on March 1st?
Their final, when they add all their payroll, it will need, that has to go, after they add their payroll, and I looked at the numbers to make sure that when we start at fiscal year, we have to look at fiscal year 2023. We start with those numbers. You add on any of your lump sum numbers that was non-payroll. You add on your IT. $2023 plus those three things. If you've added extra money in here except for utilities, it will come out.
Okay. So what's being, so then, that's what I was trying to ask, that's why I asked the clarifying question last time. So March 1st, it's submitted to budget, but then we have to, that's what I thought today was, that's why I was here enough to look at the budget, and that's why I asked them to be here, so we could answer any questions before it was submitted to budget. So it does the budget March 1st, and then when do we vote on it? Because we have to vote to approve the budget.
Well, we can do that March 8th, and if we have any
We can do
corrections,
March 8th, but don't, a lot of times they send it back.
they send it back.
I mean, it's a working document, and it does not have to be voted on
That's my question.
until the end of the fiscal year. And sometimes it takes that long
Okay.
to get it going, you know, and a lot of
But you're
times.
voting, at the end of the fiscal year, you're voting going forward for '24?
Right, yes.
So '23, which is what we're kind of talking about right now, has already been voted
Oh,
on,
yeah.
already been approved, so there's nothing really to approve there.
Right.
It's just
And this is a working
question of-
document, because like you say, it's submitted to the budget, they're gonna look at it, and they're gonna say yes or no, or whatever, or send it back, take another look at it. It's a it's a process, you know, and it has to be by the end of by that last meeting, and it's right
Well,
for fiscal year.
and once-
But usually, you do want it, you know, I'm
Once
thinking
finance
May.
gets it, then they're gonna take
Yeah.
our numbers, and they're gonna fix all these benefit numbers. And if there's a COLA that's been approved, then they'll add those numbers in there, and then it comes back to us,
Right,
you know, and that's.
So I'm thinking May is probably.
Well,
when we-
definitely in May is when we'll get
Yeah.
called over to the finance department
Right.
to review the budget.
So, for the March 8th agenda we look at, I can put under new business report from the budget committee, because that will be in by March 1st. If you have any new information, it can be on there. If not, you can just say, we have nothing to report yet.
Right, and I'll tell them when I send them over,
Yeah. But I do have that on.
that the board has not.
Yeah, this is my written agenda, I will type it up and get it back to you all, and that sort of thing, on that, so, take it and look at it, because I do have a spot on the next agenda if you have questions, so that they can
Okay.
come up then.
Yeah, like I did. I thought we were voting on this today.
No, the special call meeting was to talk about budget, and it has 2004, so we can include this in this conversation, but we don't have to vote. The main thing was to vote on those transfers, okay, so that they get into their budget and stay there. And then we can look at it along the way, because, yeah, but it's a process, it's never,
Very long process.
yeah.
So can I ask a question? So it
Yes.
comes back from the budget committee, and then you can still make changes? Because you know, at some point, the board needs to agree this is what we are proposing.
Right.
So,
I want to put something on the March 8th that we're gonna agree on these budgets.
Okay, so,
okay, yeah, because you need to...
With the exception that finance will come back with benefits and stuff.
okay, so if I put report from the budget committee,
Budget committee doesn't
not that budget, this budget, or from the treasurer, how about that? I'll change it to
Okay,
treasurer.
got the thing,
Okay.
county commission budget committee.
No, from our treasurer, the report from the treasurer on the 2024 budget.
Right.
Okay, and that way, then you can bring it back if you've heard of any changes or anything major that's gonna happen, you can bring that to the table. And then and May is when it really gets tight. So when we meet we're gonna meet in April, for the bylaws. Well, we can add that to the April agenda if we need to.
Right.
And I have.
But I may have some more updates.
Yeah, because when I did the April, I did send them back and say bylaws was the purpose, but an agenda to follow. So, that's a work in progress too. So, we can, whatever we put on the agenda, we just stick to on the special call. So, and it's all budget day to day, so, we take a look at this, and that way we'll get a report from the treasurer on the 2024 budget. And if you need to approve something, and look at it, and if not, when it comes back, when they've done the meat of the work from now until May, then we can approve the budget in May.
Right.
So, and if we need special call meeting, we do that too. We're getting good at it.
Smart.
For the agenda, also, I will have library directors do a short report. All you need is just the facts, ma'am, just the spreadsheet and all that. If you want to send a report with pictures and programs, send that electronically. And we won't print it off, but we can see it. But just to the thing, bring your spreadsheet. And maybe even an explanation for people like me that like words instead of numbers, so, and that sort of thing. So that's kind of what your reports will look like for March. Okay.
I have one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Just an announcement. Finance has scheduled Munis training for all the directors on March the 1st. It's a Wednesday at 10 o'clock. That will be March the 1st. Why?
Because I have children's programming at 10:30 on Wednesdays, and I don't have a children's librarian yet. Sorry.
Well, then you'll have to get with one of the other directors to learn, because this is the time that they've scheduled for us.
Okay, I just wanted to let you know.
They're real friendly, and if you just send them a message and ask for another time to meet with you individually, they're usually really kind about it.
Don't have anybody else to do it.
I've asked what room we're going to be in, and they've not come back to me. By the time I left the house, I've not gotten a response, but it'll be here at the county building somewhere. It's March the 1st at 10 o'clock.
We have got the mountain of stuff done today.
Yes, we have, thank you.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Pam Whiteside, Diane Stephens. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.